Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going somewhere. Well, somewhere a little unexpected.
Mm.
We're looking at memory, at self-identity, and we're doing it through the eyes of a blogger who mostly writes about programming.
Yeah, our source material is from a blog by someone who calls himself an old software plumber.
Exactly. The piece is called Notes on Photography, Part 105. Our mission is to see how this technical mind connects something very, very human to the act of documentation.
It's a fascinating starting point. I mean, you look at his other posts and it's all Elixir, Python, Go, that kind of thing, flaw assist.
Which is free and open source software for anyone not familiar.
Right. So you're expecting this dense technical manual, but then you get this this beautiful pivot into personal enlightenment. It's really something.
That contrast is the perfect hook, I think. So let's jump in. The author, Eng, says this whole train of thought started with just a title.
A title in Malay, Lautan di hujung lorong.
Which translates to Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane.
Right. And here's the really wild part. He first saw that title way back in late 2014, but he didn't actually look it up or read the book for a full decade.
Wow. So for 10 years, that phrase was just floating around in his head.
Exactly. Like a placeholder for a question he didn't even know he was asking yet. It just shows you how these deep questions can stick with you, even when you're deep in, very logical work.
The title became a symbol.
It absolutely did. And when he finally did look it up, the Wikipedia entry just, boom, laid it all out for him.
So what was it? What was the thing that grabbed him after all that time?
It was the central theme. The summary he read talked about the search for self-identity, and this is the key part, the disconnect between childhood and adulthood. And that was it. He realized this fantasy novel title had been pointing to this exact psychological tension he was feeling.
I think you, the listener, can probably relate to that. You hear a song lyric or a quote, and it just hits you, but you don't know why. And then years later, the context just crashes in.
It's a perfect bridge, isn't it? It connects the imaginative world of fantasy, which is so good at exploring that gap between our past and present selves,
Right.
with the super rational world of engineering, which is all about reliable documentation. The question becomes, if we can reliably document an IP system, why can't we do it for our own lives?
And that leads us right to the core problem he identifies. He kind of steps away from the Gaiman novel for a second and makes this pretty brutal observation about ourselves.
He does. It's stark.
What's the challenge?
The observation is simply that as we get older, our ability to remember things fades. But it's worse than that.
How so?
It's that the reliability of the memories we do have, well, it comes into question.
So it's not just forgetting. It's that what we think we remember might be wrong.
Exactly. That is the disconnect. The adult self is trying to make sense of everything using a history book where the ink is fading and, the current editor keeps changing the text.
It's not about what you had for lunch last week. It's the big stuff. The formative moments, the experiences that really, as he says, molded us. They get fuzzy.
They get warped. The adult perspective just filters that raw childhood experience. You basically lose the source code for who you are today.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, think about it. If you're making a big decision today about your career or relationship, whatever, and it's based on something that happened 20 years ago, but your memory of that event is flawed, how good is your decision making?
We're running on corrupted data. That's a terrifying thought, especially for a programmer, someone who depends on logic and rigor.
It is. You're building your entire life on shifting sand. So this unreliability of memory, it isn't just a small problem. It's an existential threat to having a coherent identity.
It stops you from understanding why you are the way you are.
Because the evidence is gone, or at least you can't trust it.
Okay, so we've laid out this pretty profound problem, this identity decay. So how does the engineer, the documenter, propose we fix it? What's the technical solution for this very human problem?
And this is where his notes on photography really deliver. The solution he puts forward is the intentional combination of two things.
Photography and journaling?
Photography and journaling. It's his systematic answer to the Gaiman disconnect.
Let's unpack that, because taking pictures and writing in a diary,
Yeah.
that's not exactly a new idea. What's the specific insight here?
It's about creating a system, a kind of dual verification system for your life. Think about it like a software developer would.
Okay.
Your memory needs version control. It needs clear commits that you can't argue with later. The photograph is that objective anchor. It's the stable build file. It confirms what happened and when.
It's the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
And the journaling is what? The commit message.
Precisely. The journal entry is the comment log. It explains the why and the how. It captures your subjective emotional state in that exact moment.
So you couple the photo, the hard fact, with the journal entry, the emotional metadata.
And by doing that, you stabilize the experience. You are logging the molding process as it happens in real time.
But let me push back on that for a second. If our memory is unreliable, isn't the journal entry just, another subjective feeling? Why should we trust it any more than what we remember 20 years later?
That's a fair question. The key is proximity.
To the event itself.
Yes. The journal entry captures the feeling before your adult brain has had a chance to rewrite the story to fit a new narrative. You're getting the raw data,
To immediate impact.
the truth of that moment from that perspective, and that's usually the most important part of the molding. Later, when you look at the photo, it brings back the context, and the journal entry brings back the original emotion. You minimize that recall bias.
So it's not just a record. It becomes an active tool for self-illumination. He says it illuminates the experiences that molded us.
Right. It means capturing those small pivotal moments that define how you react to things now.
Like what? Give me an example.
It could be documenting, I don't know, the feeling of failure when you couldn't get your bike to work as a kid. And writing down that feeling of frustration or maybe the determination that came with it.
And years later, that little entry explains why you either avoid challenges or, tackle them head on.
Exactly. So the payoff isn't just nostalgia, it's deeply functional. The source is very clear on this. The goal is to get a deeper understanding of your past so you can make truly informed decisions about your future.
You're essentially giving yourself a reliable user manual for your own brain.
The operating system that is you, yes.
Okay, let's pivot to the author himself, because I think the weight of this recommendation really comes from who he is. He calls himself an old software plumber, but he has this incredible methodological authority.
It's so true. He doesn't just suggest documentation. His entire life seems to be one giant documentation project. This is his lived methodology.
You just have to look at his blog's archives. He's got these incredibly detailed notes on, really hardcore programming topics.
Elixir, Erlang, Python, Go, Rust, all the heavy hitters.
But then, right alongside that, he has this equally meticulous approach to just life. He has notes on gardening.
Notes on fish keeping. Notes on dieting, even notes on typesetting.
It's an amazing contrast. One minute he's documenting a distributed computing system, and the next he's logging why his basil plant didn't make it.
And that's the whole point. That pattern proves his core belief. To understand and improve any system, whether it's Kubernetes or a cucumber plant, you have to record what's happening.
The self is just another system.
It's the most complex system of all and the one most in need of good documentation.
So when a guy who is this methodical about, the life cycle of a betta fish tells you to take photos and write in a journal to understand yourself,
Yeah.
you should probably listen.
You should. He's applying his professional standard for debugging code to debugging his own life. It speaks to this universal principle.
That to reduce ambiguity and establish a reliable record.
You have to write it down. So when a problem comes up later, when your adult self is acting weird, you have a clear, actionable log to look back on.
The engineer is saying you can't build version 2.0 of yourself until you've stabilized the docs for version 1.0.
Perfectly put. It turns remembering from this passive, flaky thing our brains do into an active, disciplined practice. It's not self-indulgent, it's self-engineering.
So let's bring this all together. Neil Gaiman uses a fantasy story to explore this very real terror of the disconnect.
The gap between who we were and who we are now. Yeah.
And our software plumber, Ang, gives us the pragmatic tool to build a bridge across that gap.
The combination of photography and journaling, it transforms those vague memories into actionable data about what really molded you. It secures your history.
This whole deep dive really boils down to an argument for intentional self-documentation. And it's coming from someone who lives and breathes that idea in every part of his life.
It really is. It's saying, if you want to make better choices now, you have to stabilize your past. You have to document your own internal architecture.
Which leaves us with a final and I think pretty provocative question for you, the learner, to think about after we're done here.
Yeah.
The source warns us that these molding experiences are essential for making informed decisions. So if you're just relying on your normal, fading, unreliable memory, how much of your life today is based on, a faulty record?
How many of your reactions, your choices, your fears are based on a story you've accidentally rewritten over the years? What critical notes on your own life might you be missing right now?
That's a phenomenal thought to end on. what documentation project could possibly be more important?
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into memory, fantasy, and the surprising power of documentation.
We hope it makes you look at your camera and maybe a notebook a little differently.
Until next time.